What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griff, and welcome to the Hashtag Squad. Now, it's been a while since I've brought you guys a video, and in fact, it's been a very, very long while since I've brought a World of Warcraft video to the channel. But in honor of the pre-patch, I decided to put my sub back up, especially since I've been really looking forward to Legion, and I thought, let's hop straight into this, and I might as well give you guys a new guide. So, today we're going to be looking at the Windwalker Monk for patch 7.0.3. Now, there's been a lot of changes to the Monk class, and I think you can see that by my bar if you've watched my previous Windwalker Monk guide. But let's get straight into this thing. So the first thing I want to take you guys through is going to be your talents, alright? So Windwalker Monk is going to function extremely differently than it used to. Now, the first row looks pretty identical to what it used to, except with some minor changes. We have Chi Burst, which is essentially the same thing, so it's a solid choice, but it is definitely not the best. But if you really like using this ability, feel free to. It's going to do really good burst damage and good burst healing. Eye of the Tiger is going to be absolutely passive, so if you want something that's going to be completely out of your way and not an extra button to hit, this is going to be the talent to go for. And it's also really nice because it also gives you a self-hot, which is something that a lot of classes have lost. They've lost a lot of their healing ability, but I'm happy to say that Windwalker Monks are looking really good in Legion for their survivability. Now, our last talent choice is Chi Wave, and it hasn't changed a bit from what it was prior to pre-patch. But as far as damage is concerned, it is your best talent here for this one row. Now, for the next row, we've got Chi Torpedo, which is essentially what Momentum used to be. So it still has the Chi Torpedo animation, but it's not going to give you damage or healing when you use it. It's just going to give you that movement speed buff that Momentum used to. You have Tiger's Lust, which is going to be my personal recommendation for this tier. The reason being is it breaks roots and snares. On top of that, it's on a pretty decent cooldown, which is 30 seconds, and the best part about this is it gives you extra raid utility. You don't have to use it on yourself. You can use it on anyone within the raid as long as we're within that 20-yard range. Your last talent in this tier is Celerity, and it's literally changed nothing. It is the same exact talent it used to be, just gives you an extra roll, and it also reduces the cooldown of your roll. So this next tier, your 45 tier, is an interesting one. You've got pretty much two choices here. You can go with Energizing Elixir, which has changed. It now is a talent, and it also refills your energy completely and gives you full chi. This one is regarded as the best talent so far. However, I don't like it because I don't like capping on energy. And on top of that, Power Strikes works perfect. It always seems to give me that extra chi whenever I need the extra chi, and I never get the extra chi when I don't, if that makes sense. Ascension it's not as good as the other two. So if you want a passive talent, I would go with Power Strikes here. I wouldn't recommend Ascension to you. For your next talent choice, it's going to be completely CC. Ring of Peace is not going to be good at all because it's going to knock people away from your target. Dizzying Kicks is going to provide a snare when you use Blackout Kick, which is alright, but you're not really going to get anything out of that in PvE, so I would stay away from this. Your best choice is going to be Leg Sweep again. Nothing's changed from prior to pre-patch. Now, there have been sweeping changes to your next tier, your 75 tier. Healing Elixir specifically has seen a huge change. It's going to heal you 15% of your max health when you use it. However, you get 2 charges, and now you can use it prior to it being a 35% health drop. So you don't have to worry about it going off or not. You don't have to wait for it to you don't have to wait for it to come off. You just use it whenever you need it. Diffuse Magic has seen a nerf. It is now a 2-minute cooldown, up from, I believe, what used to be a 1.5-minute cooldown, and it only reduces the magic damage you take by 60% instead of 90%. Still definitely worth taking if there are going to be boss fights where there's going to be massive magic damage in a small period of time. Dampen Harm, completely useless now. Again, instead of it reducing all damage you take by, I believe, 50% for the next 3 attacks that damage you for 15% or more of your maximum health, it now only does 30% and it's a 2-minute cooldown. Healing Elixir compared to Dampen Harm, all the way. Always take Healing Elixir in this tier unless there's going to be magic damage. Now for your level 90 tier, it's going to be pretty simple. Do you want single target damage or do you want AoE damage? If you want to do AoE, you're going to take Rushing Jade Wind. If you want single target, you're going to need to take Hit Combo. The reason you want to take Hit Combo over Zuen is the fact that Hit Combo is going to grant you a 16% damage increase for the entire fight. Zuen is not going to do that. Zuen is still a good cooldown, but it is nowhere near what Hit Combo does for you in a single target situation. Now, your last tier choice here is going to be either Serenity, Whirling Dragon Punch, or Chi Orbit. Serenity functions differently than it used to. It's going to replace your Storm, Earth, and Fire, which is a completely different ability now, mind you. And in my opinion, and in many others' opinions so far, Serenity is garbage unless you're doing AoE. It just doesn't provide the same damage output that Whirling Dragon Punch will do. And the best part about Whirling Dragon Punch is that it adds an extra button for you to be able to keep your mastery up, and therefore your combo. And on top of that, it actually will outperform Serenity in an AoE situation as well. So Whirling Dragon Punch is going to be your go-to. A lot of people will say that Chi Orbit's still good, but unfortunately it's seen multiple nerfs because it used to be the talent to take on this tier, and a lot of people used to widely regard it as boring, uninspired, and just simply not fun. So in all cases, I would highly recommend you take Whirling Dragon Punch. Next thing I want to talk about here is going to be your stat priority. So stat priority is, well, it's a lot different now. So we no longer have Multi-Strike. Multi-Strike is gone. It's been completely removed out of the game, thank God. But we've got a wonky talent, or not talent, excuse me, we've got a wonky stat priority now. So instead of you wanting to prioritize usually your secondary ones like Haste, Mastery, or Crit, you're actually going to want to get your versatility up to about 10%. And then focus on the other ones. And the really, really weird thing about Windwalkers now is that Haste, Mastery, and Crit are pretty much equal in value. So as long as you're taking pieces of gear that have more agility and allow you to approach that 10% versatility cap, you're going to be looking pretty good as far as your damage is concerned. Now, that brings us to our rotation, and our rotation is completely different from what it used to be before the pre-patch. I want to take you through a few things here. The very first thing I want to take you through is going to be our mastery. So combo strikes. Your abilities deal 15% more damage when they are not a repeat of the previous ability. That being said, we are no longer prioritizing certain abilities over other abilities 100% of the time. We're going to always try and weave another ability in between what we want to hit, so that way we're not repeating things. So we're no longer going to be double Tiger Palming. We're no longer going to be doing a double Blackout Kick just to dump chi, alright? So get that kind of mentality out of your head when you're going to be playing your Windwalker monk. The second thing I want to go over, just real quick, is Whirling Dragon Punch, because this is going to be pretty important. So Whirling Dragon Punch is going to do massive damage to both a single target and any AoE targets that are around it. But there's a catch to it. Both your Rising Sun Kick and your Fist of Fury need to be on cooldown in order for you to use it. So it's pretty similar to, Spinning Dragon Kick or whatever it was back from pre-patch. Back from before the pre-patch, excuse me. Now, the final thing... Actually, no, there's two other things I want to talk about. The third thing I want to talk about right now is Storm, Earth, and Fire. completely changed since what it used to be on, I keep wanting to say live, but pre-patch is now live. But it's completely changed from what it used to be. So it now basically makes 2 copies of you, each of them dealing 45% normal damage and healing, and you're able to directly control them. And it's no longer a damage loss to basically put them on the same target as you're focusing. It's actually a damage buff. So think of it as what Serenity used to be mixed with the old Storm, Earth, and Fire. It's very interesting and it's really cool. And the best part is you get 2 charges. The final thing I wanted to talk to you guys about just real quick before we actually go into the rotation is Touch of Death. Completely different now. 2-minute cooldown. There's no health requirement to use it. And now it's just an ability that you put on your target, and it gives them a debuff, and at the end of the debuff, it'll basically explode, dealing your full health and damage. Now, that damage will be reduced in PvP, but we're not going to be talking about that right now. So, what you want to do when you're getting ready to pull, obviously, we'll say DBM pull's going, you're going to want to pre-pot. I don't have a pre-pot to do that with, so we'll just go ahead and get straight into the rotation. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close the gap here. And then I'm going to immediately go into a burst. So that means I'm going to pop my trinket, I'm going to build some chi, I'm going to Rising Sun kick, I'm going to go ahead and pop my Storm, Earth, and Fire, and then go into a Fist of Fury. Once that's completed, I'm going to hit my Whirling Dragon Punch, and then I'm going to go into a priority here. So Rising Sun kick is #1 priority besides my Fist of Fury, and Fist of Fury is going to be going off right away. And then on top of that, I'm going to basically, anytime I have any other downtime, I'm going to either hit Whirling Dragon Punch first, if it's up, or if it's not up, I'm going to go ahead and use Chi Wave, and if that's not up, I'm going to go ahead and use a Blackout Kick. Now, the #1 thing to keep in mind is whenever you use an ability, you don't want to use that same ability twice. So if I Rising Sun kick, and then I Blackout Kick, and I still have Chi, I don't want to Blackout Kick again. I want to hit another ability, whether that's your Tiger Palm or another Chi Spender. That's going to be up to you and what cooldowns you have. Now, one thing to note is you're going to want to use Touch of Death every single time it's up. Second thing to note here is that whenever you're doing this, you're going to have periods of time where you don't have anything that you can push because you're either out of energy, or it would literally mean that you would have to double cast something. So, one thing to keep in mind is the playstyle of Windwalker Monk is going to speed up when we get our artifact weapon, because we're going to get another ability. In the end though, I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I'll try and get back to you on that one. But in the end of this, I really hope I helped some people out, and keep your eyes peeled for the second part of this when Legion launches and we have our full artifact weapon, so I can give you kind of what it's going to look like once we have our Legion stuff. Again, thank you, have a great day, and I'll see you around in the World of Warcraft.